Joining us today is bandleader, musician, percussionist, and son of the late Mambo King himself. We have Tito Puente Jr. Tito, you're in the house with me today. Well, not
Yes, I am. Quarantito, they call me. Quarantito. There it is. Nice to be here with you, Mabel.
Tito, it is such a pleasure talking to you. You're in Florida, but yet you're representing New York.
I got to represent my New York Yankees. I love them with all my heart. I miss baseball. We're right in the middle of baseball season, and we don't have any baseball. So I'm just tributing my favorite team today and thinking about them, how I can personally see those balls being hit right out of the outfield area and them winning. So I can only dream about it. But yes, I am originally from New York, but I'm in South Florida. But they train over here, and we got my man Derek Jeter who lives down here in South Florida too.
Oh, nice. So how are you doing in quarantine? How's your family? How are you?
I'm good. I'm right in the smack in the middle, right when the quarantine kind of came in, of recording my third tribute album to my late father, Tito Puente. And so I'm right in the middle. I got 7 songs done. I'm supposed to complete 10. So I got 3 more on deck. And I believe I spoke to the producer last night, so I'm looking forward to getting in the studio hopefully soon. And what's great about being in a recording studio is that you're really not in close proximity to anybody, simply because you're in a vocal booth or a booth where you can play the instrument. And of course, the engineer and producers are in another room looking through a window. So it's how ideal is that to be quarantined? So I'm going to start getting back in the studio, hopefully, and finish this thing up because it's the 20th anniversary of my late father's passing this May 31st, 2000. And hopefully I'll have a single ready by then.
Have you found that your creative juices are flowing even more so during quarantine? Or are you one of those individuals that you're like, you know what? I'm in lockdown. I'm just going to relax.
It depends. It depends on what daily routine I'm doing that particular day. I do homeschooling. Of course, I'm sure all the parents out there have the homeschooling. My kids are in class right now as we speak. So I kind of guide them to do their classwork through their teachers. But then after school's over, I get into looking at a lot of music videos and a lot of historical videos of my late father. And that's where my creative juices come from, his spirit, his spirituality, and of course his influence of music worldwide, just the mambo music that he left on this planet. So I am getting some things done around the house too as well. Had a lot of chores to do and didn't realize I had so many. But yeah, getting those two too. But I'm getting through it pretty good. And here in South Florida, it looks like the curve is coming down a little bit. We're seeing less cases of COVID-19. So I'm looking forward to hopefully this thing, being flushed out of the area or out of the United States or out of the world for that matter. It's just devastating what happened to all of the working musicians around the world, especially the entertainment industry. It got hit the most, and we'll probably be the last to come back from this whole, pandemic. But I have my hopes up, and I'm looking forward to getting music. And that's the greatest thing about it, Mabel, is that music has gotten everybody, every single person on this planet has gotten through this pandemic with resilience and shine and feeling good because there's music and there's music videos and the musicians and I've seen just people dancing on different platforms and Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube and all over the place, and they're all dancing to mambo music and any type of music, any genre. So music's really gotten everybody through this whole pandemic. I'm sure you've listened to music most of your day. You don't even realize it, but music comes in and out of every platform that we have been seeing, including television as well. And I'm glad that my father's music has gotten people through this hard time. It gives people good spirit. And I encourage everybody each and every day to listen to a Tito Puente CD or listen to Tito Puente music, and I promise you your day will go by much smoother. So.
I completely agree. I have found myself vacuuming to music.
That's good.
Much more enjoyable, that's for sure.
Yes, it does, and it makes you dance. It makes you groove, and always up-tempo music is fantastic. Even ballads and great songs. And I love the fact that music has gotten people through this pandemic. And my father's music, Tito Puente music, really shines and comes through. I'm seeing some great dancers around the world, which is incredible.
Well, I recently saw, I happened to be on Facebook, and you were live, and there were some mentions of you, that there was a DJ that was mixing some of your music. And I thought that was great. And that's exactly what's been happening. A lot of people have been listening to DJs online.
I love the fact that the DJs are playing great music, all different types of music, different genres, and the people are watching. And I think it's because it gives a sense of normalcy in the fact that you're seeing a DJ and you're relating to the music, and they're always coming up. And you can even request, like in real time, you could request a song that you like to hear. But I love the fact that they're playing a lot of my music and my father's music and a lot of Fania music and just Latin music altogether. And what's even more fascinating is I'm seeing actual musicians performing on different platforms too as well, playing drums, timbales, conga, bongo. They're all coming together for the unity of music, and it's just a fantastic. I think we all kind of needed a break for a second too. I think we were all going at about 100,000 miles an hour when we all went into 2020. I think we all said the same thing. 2020 is our year. So this is a great time to reflect and turn around and say, hey, you know what the things that are important to us. And I didn't realize how much limited time that I had to spend with my children since being a Latin performer and performing around the world, I was gone every weekend for a whole year. So that's 52 weekends that I didn't have with my kids. And I said, wow, performing and of course working, but I miss it. Yes, and I love what I do, but it feels great to be home with my children and bonding with them and spending quality time. So I take this as a reflection of what's the things to come and how I can be a better father, be a better parent, and just be a better friend to all my friends too. So I keep in touch with a lot of friends that I haven't spoken to in a while. So it's a great time to reflect on that.
No, I completely agree, because otherwise we're going about our business. Like you said, it's like 100 miles per hour, and you lose sight of everything that's going on around you. So this is the perfect time. Truthfully, if we weren't in quarantine, this may not be happening. Either I would.
That's true. Well, yeah, the schedule, it would be a scheduling conflict, but now we have the availability, and I love that. And I've been contacting people that I never thought I haven't spoken to in years. And I'm like, wow, they're available now. And I'm finally returning voicemails that I had for about a year and a half. And I'm like, oh my God, let me call this guy. I feel so bad. And they're like, you're still alive. So it's a great opportunity to do that and share those great aspects of life. Those are parts of life that we usually don't share. And I'm glad we get the opportunity to do that now.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that it's going to be the anniversary of your dad's passing, and you're working on a particular project. In the last few years, you've been working on a number of different projects. Can you share a little bit more about that?
I have quite a few things that I've been doing. Again, going 100 miles an hour. There's this. I had a board that I put up. Like sometimes people have to put down a chalkboard, if you will, and say, okay, these are my goals, and this is what I'm doing. And last month or the month before, I just took it and I erased everything. And I said, let me start with a clear mind and go into the projects that are near and dear to my heart, and the ones that I was really not focusing on. And one of them is my album, of course, and I've been working on that for a while. I've been trying to actually do this album for about 6 years. My last album came out in 2010, so now I'm really focused on this one. This is a great 20th anniversary tribute. I wanted to get it out by May 31st. However, just time constraint, and of course the pandemic kind of pushed it, but it will be out before the end of the year. And the other project that I'm looking forward to doing is hopefully, and I'm crossing my fingers and really rubbing that crystal ball, and hopefully I'm praying that their story will be told on my late father, possibly a book or a movie or a television series on the great Tito Puente. Really something true to my heart, and that's something I've been working on for over 20 years since his passing. And it's finally coming to fruition. I see some great things happening soon. I'll share them with you as they come forth, but a very exciting time. You would never believe it during the pandemic that some of the greatest moments of my career are happening as we speak. So very, very exciting time for me.
Tito, I don't know. Have you noticed anything different during our interview in the last few minutes?
Um, I'm gonna say I'm looking at your. I think you're smile. Are you smiling there?
Talking to me about some of your projects, and
Yes.
I wanted to surprise you. So I have
Okay.
Melina. Does that sound familiar?
Hey, that's my musical sister. Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah. Hey, what's up,
Here
my
I am again
girl?
to bother you.
Mira pa ahí, mi hermana boricua musical, Melina Almodovar, la muñeca de la salsa, the doll of salsa. How are you, gorgeous?
Good. How are you?
All right,
Surprise!
baby. Surprise. How are you? How are you? Man, I saw you making a good pernil the other night. How'd it come out?
Yeah, everything's going good. I miss you though, and thanks to Mabel for calling me. It was a total surprise. So I hope that you are surprised.
I am.
Are you
I
surprised?
am surprised. I am surprised. Good to see you. I talk to you practically every week anyway, just to check up on you. But
We
but
talk
I'm
all the
glad.
time.
I know, but I'm glad Mabel reached out to you. This is great. Thanks, Mabel, for bringing my musical sister into here. This is cool.
Woo! How are you, Mabel?
You were with me when I the Yankee game, girl. She performed at Yankee Stadium with me. Remember that?
Yes, it was amazing. I can't wait to do it again if we ever get to do it again.
Oh, baby, we're gonna do it. The Yankees are gonna come back strong, and I'm excited about that. Melina performed with me at Yankee Stadium. One of my dreams that came true, and I'm glad I got to do it with Melina. And we've done some fantastic concerts. We have been going 100,000 miles an hour for about good 3.5 years strong, ever since our single came out, and every weekend practically. Because I was looking at a calendar, I'm like, wow, man, we worked a lot. Especially last year, 2019 was really a hard year that we were on the road a lot, and Melina just kept up with me, which I'm very happy to say, and she's just a fantastic
I'm alive
artist.
to live the tale.
Yes. I can't wait till your book comes out, girl.
Oh, no.
So
I want
that's
to thank
cool.
Mabel for having me. Thank you, Mabel. Thank you very much.
Thank you enough. We have Melina Almodovar and salsa great as well. Latin. I'm trying to think what's the best way. Vocalist and artist and just great talent. And I thank you so much for helping me pull off this surprise.
Oh, I am very surprised, and I'm thank you again, Mabel. She's I love getting surprises like that when it's beautiful girls like Melina. She's such a talent. I love working with her. I try to do my best to keep in touch with her as much as I can, because we were recording, and she's going to be on my new album too as well. And we've been going back and forth, and I've been keeping her in the loop on when we're going to get back in the studio. But I love the fact that Melina and I, we had a lot of concerts that have not been canceled, just postponed. And I try to tell her that, and I explain that to her a lot, that we're not canceled out, baby, whatsoever. We have more music to do, and we are just going to let this quarantine just keep moving forward, and hopefully a vaccine will be created and everybody will come back on the dance floor. And I'm very excited. Remember, everybody, one more day is one day closer to it be coming back to the way it was. And we're hoping and praying that that'll be sooner than later. And I see good progress. So I'm happy to say that. But I love the fact you surprised me. And Melina, I hope you saved me some of that pernil.
Oh, yeah. I've been cooking online. And next week, I'm going to make this awesome pastelón. I'm so excited. I have to keep myself busy, right? We have to keep ourselves busy.
Yeah.
And I talked to, actually, Mabel, when you actually texted me, I was talking to Tito. I was like, hey. I was talking to him.
Yeah.
We talk on Facebook all the time. That's how we talk.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's funny, Mabel, I got to tell you, it's funny too, because Melina and I are practically neighbors. She lives in South Florida as well. and we see each other so much, but in the past 3 months already, we have not seen each other practically at all, only through this platform.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that she's doing great, and she does this great thing on Friday nights tomorrow, and she performs live on her Facebook feed. So anybody who's watching, make sure you watch my homegirl, La Muñeca de la Salsa. She takes requests on YouTube, on Facebook, and follow her, Melina Almodovar, on
Thank you
Facebook.
for having me.
Oh, I look forward to it. I'll be tuning in. Melina,
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah, you got to have some wine and dance and get your
Yes, we have
dancing
some
shoes on. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Tomorrow we'll be doing, everybody always asks me to play Mi Socio, but for me, it's really hard because I can't do Mi Socio and Kimbara and all those songs without Tito. So I try not to do him too much because I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm like, where's Tito at? I'm like looking at him, constantly to see if he's there. So I miss you very much. And thank you, Mabel, for the opportunity to be on this wonderful interview. You guys have a good time for the rest of the interview. I just popped in. Yeah. I'm going to pop out.
I love you. I love you. I love you. God bless you, darling. We'll talk soon. I'll call you later.
All right. See you, Mabel. Thank you so much.
Man, fantastic.
Oh, perfect.
That was so cool. Thanks, Mabel. That was a nice gift.
I thought you would enjoy that. I'm trying to, it's the gift that keeps on giving. And it's like during this time, we just need to smile.
Yeah. She makes me smile all the time, and she's right. I can't perform these songs without her because we're a team, and I love performing with her around the world, and I can't wait to get back out on stage with Melina. She's a fantastic artist, and again, what a fantastic surprise! I love chatting with her, and really someone special, dear to my heart, dear to my family. We all love her, and hopefully we will see you guys in concert soon. We got some great tour dates coming up too, and I told Melina that in September we got some concert dates coming up, in October too, and I always got to throw these dates at her, and she's like, wait, when? I'm like, I need you to come here and there, and I love that she's always readily available for me, and she's really a force to be reckoned with. She's got a powerful voice, and I appreciate her friendship. And again, fantastic opportunity to chat with her. And it's so funny that she was with me when I got this shirt from the Yankees. She was right there with me, though. Great stuff.
Quarantine, you mentioned, September, October. So is that more or less, when you're talking to, your group of people about, just concerts and things, is that what it seems like around that time frame?
I've been listening to a lot of different promoters that are in the Latin market, and of course the American market too. And they're coming together and kind of come up with some sort of way we can move forward into having the live, presentations. I've heard the whole thing of the drive-in movie theater, having the stage, and of course the virtual concerts that everybody's doing. Tito Puente music, my music in particular, it's danceable music. You need a dance floor. Sometimes I'll do performing arts centers where people can actually sit, and they'll have to be, of course, 6 feet separation, social distancing, and they can experience a concert in that sort of way. But in September and October, I'm really pushing for that. I'm hoping, everything all depends on what the government's going to acquire, and hopefully we get a vaccine coming through sooner than later. I think that's really the key to all of this. It's up to the scientists, and I support all the scientists. But in the meantime, what we can do as musicians is just help out the ones that are in need, whether it be families or the front and the people on the front lines. Hospital workers, nurses, police, fire, emergency workers, and I hope that they are the ones that really they have to hold down the fort until the scientists come up with a vaccine, and then we can relieve them of their duties. And they're really doing a fantastic job. So my support is always with them in this whole pandemic. I'm praying and hoping that September, October, the curve will go down dramatically, and we can maybe do some small intimate shows where we can have just a few people at a time, and maybe do those virtually too. There's so many different combinations that we could basically do with live music. But in particular, me, I like performing for la gente en vivo, as we say in Spanish, the people live. And I think my father would have, if he was with us, he would do the same too. It would be very hard to play drums virtually. I did a couple of concerts, a couple of presentations like that, but I have such a vast catalog, and my concerts usually go for 2 or 3 hours, and it's very, interactive, if you will. So hopefully September, October, we're shooting for that. If not, then we're looking at 2021. But I'll still be here, and I'll be ready to go.
Will you be in the New York area?
Of course, absolutely. New York is my home, and I have a concert coming up in November 14th in upstate New York in Newburgh, and then I have another concert, I think, in New York City. I'm hoping and praying, that the nightclub will eventually open up for small patrons, maybe a few patrons at a time. Dance classes and dance gyms of that nature, the things that dance studios, those are really going to be the first ones that are going to open up first, and then the live music will come in with small quartets. I don't think I can come in with a big orchestra and have 300, 400 people at one time. But eventually I'll do like a little small Latin jazz ensemble. Of course, Melina and myself, we could do a lot of performances, just me and her. And we're going to start off slow like that and get the people's, basically the trust of the scientists that we have to rely on. That's really where we're at. I mean, anybody could tell you, well, I had COVID, but I don't have it anymore. And then the next person could say, well, I never got it. So you don't know where to believe or where to go. So I think if everybody has a vaccine or everybody gets vaccinated, then we won't have that doubt in our minds anymore of shaking a hand or greeting somebody. So we're Latinos, so we're so used to hugging and kissing and, hey, how you doing? ¿Cómo está mi gente? And eventually we'll get back to there. Just right now it's a temporary stay of love and with a public displays of affection. Is that what they call it? So we just have to hold on to that. In the meantime, we can keep cooking Goya, and that's how we'll send our love through smell.
I can completely relate, but it's true. We're huggers, and I had a relative came by on Mother's Day to give my mom some flowers with the mask. She didn't come in, and I wanted a hug her, and so I had to like really resist. And I'm like, okay, mental hug.
Yeah.
A few feet away from me.
Yeah, I know. I had to hug myself, and I say, this hug is for you. So we are resilient people. Latinos always will be. And we will eventually get back to some sorts of normalcy in the Hispanic community, especially the musical Hispanic community with Latin music. So
You're just excited. As a band leader, percussionist. Some people refer to you as the son of the late Mambo King. And you really have taken it upon yourself to really continue your dad's legacy. Was that done consciously? Like, was that something that you felt you wanted to do?
Absolutely. Before his passing, I was doing Latin dance music. I have a lot of recordings. I redid one of his famous signature standard hits called Oye Como Va. And I was recording back in 1993, 94, 95. So this is prior to his passing, and I traveled around the world with him. It was a great experience being the son of a Latin icon like that. And I always wanted to do something now, especially at the age of 50 years old. I continue to make sure that the youth of today reconocer la música de Rey Timbal, to remember Tito Puente music and where the Latin music comes from. The likes of Celia Cruz, Johnny Pacheco, Fania All-Stars, Machito, Tito Rodriguez, Tito Puente. These are legends that can never be forgotten because they really paved the way for us musicians and Latin music in its entirety. I tell everybody I'm not really Enrique Iglesias because, the comparison's so vast from Julio to Enrique. I used to perform rock music and Latin dance music. My father was not into that music at all. And he was into jazz. But he never taught me how to play drums. He always told me, go to school, learn the craft, and make sure that you watch and listen to what I do and try to follow those traits and That's the magic that I give to the world. And I've taken that, embraced it into my own heart, embraced it into my own performances, and I present his music to the highest, maximum way that I can. These are the original arrangements, and I love performing his music. I love keeping his spirit alive, and they say I look a lot like him, just no white hair yet, no gray hair yet. But I always keep him close to me. I always got his music everywhere. I got his. I keep his a lot of his. Yeah, I keep a lot of his memorabilia, and I keep his memory alive by performing. This is a classic. Oh, hey, looks young here, right? Pretty young.
You can get a lot of money on eBay.
Yes, yeah. I found a lot of stuff. I always look for a lot of memorabilia and things like that of my late father. I like getting it and then keeping it. I don't resell any of my father's stuff or any of his music or anything like that, because hopefully one day I'll make a museum and kids can go and the youth can go to remember who he was. So I feel almost like a son being a curator of the Tito Puente dynasty and his legacy. I love performing his music, and I'm glad I get the opportunity to. So.
You mentioned that you are working on an album, and that you have about 7 songs done. And
yes.
So waiting to get production started again. When do you think it will be released?
I'm going to say before the end of the year, because it is the 20th anniversary of his passing this year. So we want to celebrate his life and his legacy as much as we can, even during this pandemic. However, I believe the issue, my thing is that I don't need to get the musicians in the studio simply because I can record them on tracks. You can record one saxophone, one trombone the next day, a trumpet the next day. It's the other featured celebrity musicians I have. I can share with you the special guests that I have on the album, one of them being my brother. My brother, Ronnie Puente, is performing on a beautiful song written and composed by Tito Puente from 1957 called Hong Kong Mambo. And he's playing the vibes, and then I'm playing the timbales. So it's our son tribute to our father. And I have the fantastic Giovanni Hidalgo that will be participating in the album. I got some other great singers that my father used to work with. And I wanted to get singers and performers that worked with Tito Puente directly. Remember, my father worked with so many different fantastic artists, but I wanted to get the ones that really were on his albums, and he shared recording studio time with them. And so I'm looking forward to working with those fantastic artists. I have a few in mind. They're all ready to go. I just got to get this quarantine over so I can get to them. But now we can even send the music out and they can record on their own, which is fantastic too. But their contribution to this beautiful 20th anniversary tribute to Tito Puente record will be undeniably something special, and people will recognize it. And again, hopefully it will be out before the end of this year. I'm actually counting on it to be done before the end of the summer. So I'm looking for a fall release, third quarter they call it in the music world. So look out for it. It's going to be something fantastic.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to just see that beautiful demeanor of yours, that personality. I know that you began to mention right before we had our surprise with Melina. You mentioned, and you and I talked a number of years ago, and it was something you mentioned at that time, that you would love to do a film about your dad.
Yes, I would love that. It looks like it's going to hopefully happen. I think with the whole recognition of the 20th anniversary, plus my album, plus people dancing in this pandemic of Tito Puente, his name is getting out there a little bit more. Just look at any hashtag on any of the social platforms and type in Tito Puente on Google, and you're going to see a million things come up. So his name is recognition. People are recognizing his music. Ran Can Can, Oye Como Va, all the great hits, El Cayuco, and the fantastic legacy that he left. I think he's getting more recognition now than he ever had in the past 20 years since his passing. So I believe that Hollywood, there are now looking for stories that should be told. One of the most fantastic ones that I just recently saw as of late was, of course, the one about Elton John, which is Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, the one about Queen. There's some fantastic, great biopics. And now hasn't really been a powerful biopic on a Latin icon, a jazz legend, such as my father. And I'm not sure if we could really do a movie I'm almost prone to say this might have to be a saga series, maybe on a streaming network, simply because his career was so vast.
Right.
You can't stick it all in 2 hours. You know, Tito Puente had from humble beginnings of Spanish Harlem and then winning 7 Grammy Awards, 14 nominations, star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You have to add all that into the sancocho of the movie, and it's going to be kind of tricky. So hopefully maybe one of the streaming services or maybe even a network will do a series on Tito Puente, maybe even seasons, season 1, 2, 3, 4. There's so many aspects of his career and his life, but it looks like this year is going to be the year where we are going to be putting out possibly a documentary first on his life and his legacy, and then of course a beautiful story on his life. So finally, knock on wood, but it looks like it will be happening later this year into 2020.
Oh, I look forward to that. And again, I'm just so happy that you're safe, that your family's doing well in Florida, but representing New York.
Yeah, all the way, man. Love New York. And a big shout out to all the first responders in New York. New York's got hit really hard. My family is safe in New York. I love you, Mom, Audrey, Ronnie, my whole family. So everybody's in quarantine. So, but again, respect to the New York Fire Department, the NYPD, and of course our first responders, all the doctors and nurses in New York and the whole tri-state area and around the United States too. They're doing a fantastic job keeping everybody safe. And let's go science, man. It's all about science right now, prayer and science. And hopefully these scientists can find some sort of vaccine that we can all get real soon, and we can all come at it. In the meantime, music will help you. I promise you, music is the best remedy for any depression or any thoughts that you might have being in quarantine, or even if you're not feeling so hot and you're just feeling down, music is the best remedy. And I promise you that if you listen to a Tito Puente record, any of them, from the 1950s and 60s all the way till his passing in 2000, you will enjoy your day and it'll go by much brighter. Can I give you a little music?
Oh, please.
Yeah, yo tengo un cable aquí with the old man on it. Pretty cool. Oye, cómo va, mi ritmo bueno para gozar, que mulata, que viva Tito Puente.
Tito, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Much love.
I love you, Mabel. God bless you. Stay safe, everybody. All right. Viva Tito Puente.
Take care.
Yeah.